All right, next up is team number 26. Their first course was a rather busy and complicated appetizer. It's called the Trio, and it consisted of mushroom cakes and tender tender asparagus tips that were wrapped in pancetta. And the third component was a Parmesan cup that was filled with a blue cheese mousse. And a few comments from the judges here. The mushroom cake itself was probably the favorite of the three. Nice crunchy exterior, just a nice developed flavor, nicely balanced on the seasoning. You know, this one could have been presented alone as your appetizer here, eliminating the complexity on the plate. The Parmesan cup was a little overdone in terms of the flavor and the disparity of the components. The Parmesan cup itself overpowered the cheese mousse, and the blueberry garnish kind of came in from left field. It was a bit of a surprise for us. The asparagus component was very nicely cooked, bright colors on the plate, and so that was also very pleasant. Again, overall, think simplicity for your opening course. The entree was a beef roulade served with braised purple sauerkraut in a classic German fashion. And here the stuffing for the beef roulade could use a little more flavor, a little bit more moisture. And then the sauce is there on the plate to add that moisture and flavor. And as a standalone component, the sauce certainly did have a lot of flavor. It was very pleasant. Add a little bit more. I think the beef roulade could stand to be dressed a little bit more. The starch was the noodle, and this was a bit under-seasoned. I think it's a great idea. A bit under-seasoned and a little bit gummy on the texture. So watch the follow-through on this component. To bring in a little bit more flavor interest, consider folding in some fresh herbs into your noodle, and a little bit of contrasting bite with the addition of some cracked black pepper I think would be nice as well. The kraut, was very nicely done. Overall, I think it could use just a little boost in seasoning, a little bit of acid, a little bit of salt, but again, bright purple component was very eye-catching, and just, I think a classic German plate. Moving on to the dessert, this was also a classic, a cherries Jubilee tart. Here, unfortunately, the fry oil came through as a little bit rancid, and so that detracted from the preparation as a whole. The pastry was just a little bit on the salty side. But with just some minor tweaks, I think you will have a very nicely balanced classic dessert here. Overall, looking at what you have on this menu, the first course is a little bit overly complex. The second two courses were classics, and so a little bit of disconnect with the opening course. But again, overall, nicely finished.